Good morning, everyone. It is 9:30. We're going to get started. I'd like to welcome everyone. If we could get a roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores,
Here.
Mayor Moreno,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Here.
Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Weiss,
Here.
Commissioner Woodward. Yes, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Pelowitz, if you would please provide the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear God, we thank you for your many blessings. Help us to serve our community and our customers with integrity, ingenuity, and responsibility. We ask that our work help others to realize better health and greater happiness. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Five D.
Are there any additions, deletions, substitutions to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a revision to item 9D1. And it has
Is there a
been,
motion to adopt the agenda
So
as
moved.
amended?
Second.
Please see that Commissioner Weiss made the motion and Commissioner Flores seconded. Is there a motion to adopt the board minutes from February 12th, 2025? All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Please see that the motion carries 6-0. Next, is there a motion to adopt the board minutes from February 12th, 2025?
So moved.
First by Commissioner Marino, second by Commissioner Flores. Excuse me, Mayor Marino.
See, it's hard. I told you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to receive and file the Citizens Advisory Committee minutes from April 2nd, 2025?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mayor Marino, a second by Commissioner Sachs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to receive and file the Small Business Advisory Committee minutes from February 4th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
See that I have a first by Commissioner Weiss, second by Commissioner Mayor Marino. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0. On to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent? Is there a motion to adopt?
we have cards on the consent agenda.
Okay, I will turn it over to Mayor Marino then.
Thank you. First up will be Linda Smith, followed by Mike Ewall, and then Alexandria Larson. And you have 3 minutes. Who's got the timer?
Commissioner Flores.
Where is the time?
Right there.
Okay, there. Thank you. Linda Smith, Jupiter, Florida.
You turn her mic on?
Linda Smith? Nope. Linda Smith, Jupiter, Florida, with the Sierra Club Loxahatchee Group. Item 5F, Aggregate Recovery Project, is about extending the term of an agreement, and I'm a little vague on some of the details, and I apologize. I do believe you're going to be making $25,000 to $30,000 in revenue, but I'm not quite sure whether this is for testing or what we're going to be doing with the aggregate after the trash is burned. Where is it going to go? How is it going to be contained? And please do not consider using it as a road bed. If you're concerned about the lining of the ash stack to protect our groundwater, think about the lining the roadways would need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Commissioners and board members, thank you for having me. My name is Mike Ewall. Is this on? There. Oh, okay. Now it's on. Okay. Hi, my name is Mike Ewall. I'm a solid waste consultant working with local governments and community groups around the country. I am not here seeking work. Let me make that clear. But I did develop the zero waste hierarchy that is used as an international standard around the world for what zero waste means and how to best manage solid waste. For years, I've seen the Solid Waste Authority staff in action at industry and academic conferences. And I'm concerned that as a board, you're not getting an objective view of what you need to hear in terms of a complete picture from the Solid Waste Authority staff. Clearly, the Solid Waste Authority has gone full force in terms of supporting incineration in many regards, despite the fact that most communities across the country have chosen to move away from this technology. There have been hundreds of proposals for new trash incinerators around the country in the past 3 decades, and yours is the only one that ultimately said, yes, we're going to build one. Every other community has chosen not to pursue it, and we're seeing that same unfold most recently in Miami-Dade County, where they're looking at a $1.5 or greater billion new incinerator, just like you're looking at here. And they are starting to back away from that plan due to community opposition and rethinking the huge price tag. Regarding this item of 5F, I'm concerned about this pursuit of recycling incinerator ash into roads or other uses as aggregate. I know that there is a rightful concern about the impacts of landfills impacting groundwater and ultimately leaching and harming that groundwater, but putting the same ash into roads or other aggregate uses means placing it on the land without liners to protect the groundwater, posing even greater risk. Have your Solid Waste Authority staff informed you that ash recycling schemes have failed in Tennessee, in Maine, in York County, Pennsylvania, and most recently in Bucks County, Pennsylvania? Have they informed you that the Hawaii Department of Health is currently looking over this and has concerns over the toxicity of using the same sort of ash, and that their state legislature is poised to potentially ban the practice? Have they informed you that scientific studies including concerns from chemists, have found that ash in a real-life environment will leach arsenic, lead, cadmium, even though they don't leach sufficiently in a short-term lab test that determines that's legally non-hazardous? And have they informed you of EPA's recent statement in December that shows and states that ash can be harmful in contexts other than just what leaches out of it during that short-term test? In other words, what can be harming people in terms of if they're exposed to it through inhalation, ingestion, or even touching that ash. So there's much reason for concern, and I would urge you to remove this item from the consent agenda and table it for deeper consideration, including a look at the information that your Solid Waste Authority have not shared with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mine are just a couple of questions on 5C, and D and E. Because you got 3 different places where you're taking,
Ms. Larson, if you would please turn on the mic.
oh, sorry. Green light, right?
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm probably loud enough, but anyway. On, C, D, and E, you got 3 different, Pompano, Hobe Sound, Deerfield Beach. We're taking construction debris. Wouldn't it be easier to consolidate it and have one designated area to put construction debris? Is it to save money on gas because it's closer to, because all of them are kind of out of our realm here, I just think sometimes logic needs to be, I wish it worked in everywhere in our lives, but like with construction debris, put it all in one place where, they can deal with it more easily, where it's not going to 3 different places. Boards go here, tile goes here, roof tiles go there. Just something that would be a little bit easier for you all. That's just the thought, because I'm reading it and I'm like, why not one place instead of 3 different avenues? And there might be a damn good reason that you'll have for it, while you're doing it, but it's just a question. Because recycling, there's so many chemicals, just like the people before me talking about what what is seeping into our groundwater, what is going on. There's something really neat that you all need to do. I just found out about it. You can have the CO2 in your blood tested. And I think everybody should have it here in Palm Beach County, because we've got the sugarcane, we got 3 power plants, We've got the nightmare over here, which I consider a nightmare. You do not, but I do. And we have a lot of stuff that we're breathing in. So I'd love for the county to start a program where everybody gets a free CO2 blood test, because I want to know what's in my blood. My friend's waiting. He informed me about it. I just learned about this because I listen and I learn every day. And I really think all of you should be interested in that for yourselves, for your children, and for your grandchildren. I really do think that's something that we should take into consideration because we don't know. And even the doctors, when I speak to them, they're like, wow, because they don't even know that we burn sugar cane, some of them. I was driving with one from Broward one day, and he goes, what's that big black cloud? They're burning sugar cane. He didn't know, and he was a resident here for 30 years. But thank you.
And that's it for cards.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll move the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? See that the motion carries 6-0. Do we have any matters by the public?
We do
Yeah.
have several cards. Okay, we have several cards for matters by the public. Alex Larson, Linda Smith, Mike. Spelled it differently on this one. Edwell, and Maxine Lobel.
Don't mean to be questionable, but I did want an answer to my question on the 3 different reasons we go to the 3 places. But maybe at the end of the meeting you can tell me that. Matters by the public. We are being inundated. I drove around. I went to Mecca. I went to the big hill over here, and I went to North County Airport. We, the taxpayers, you, the taxpayers, we're all taxpayers. We're paying a lot of money. We paid $50 million to save 33,000 acres of land surrounding the North County Airport, J.W. Corbett, Mecca, and guess what? We're deciding to destroy these areas again. We've decided that we're going to expand the North County Airport. During COVID, we took away 67 acres of wetlands. And we have some situations throughout the county, like that hill doubled in size. My friend took a picture of it. I didn't bring it. I'm not going to make you put it on the screen. But the mighty mountain out there doubled in size between a couple of meetings. Now, I don't know if that's a visual to convince us we need a new incinerator or a bigger one or a lot of one, because the hill got really big. It changed. It changed in diameter and size. And I have seen so much here at the Solid Waste Authority, different things that have happened throughout the years, and I am very concerned about the poison going into our groundwater. And it's from several avenues. I'm not just blaming the Solid Waste Authority. It's everywhere. It's all over, and it's cumulative, because it's got to be. We just keep adding to the situation, and we shouldn't do that. I know you think we need an incinerator. I think you're wrong. I think you got enough, you built one. I think you got enough capacity to do that, unless we have made deals with other counties that we're going to take in their stuff. I do not know. I'm not saying you did or didn't, but Dade has decided not to do an incinerator. Broward's decided not to redo an incinerator. In Palm Beach County, we seem to be the toilet of South Florida. We are getting handed stuff like the sugar cane, like everything. It is cumulative, people. So I would like you to at least enlist somebody, a scientist, somebody here, to look into this. What is it cumulative? Because you got your problem. That I call it a problem. I mean, you don't, but I do. That's a problem. Sugar's a problem. It's all a problem. And I think someone should be looking at each and individual thing and seeing how much it is detrimental to our health. Because I do like breathing. I really do. I like breathing clean air. I love when the sky is blue. I love when it's cool in the morning, commissioners. But in about another month, we're going to be at 120 degrees every day.
Thank you, Ms.
So
Larson.
please get somebody to look at it, all of it, so you have some information that's correct and good.
Thank you.
Still Linda Smith, still with the Sierra Club. We know you've received the report. It's not green, and we would love to meet with you to discuss. I know we did spend quite a bit of time with one of the commissioners, and thank you. I'm asking you, before we invest $1.5 billion in an incinerator, that will lock us all into 40 to 60 years of a commitment for this facility, that will just need to be replaced at the end of its lifespan. That's what we're doing now. We're just repeating the same thing. It's Groundhog Day. Will there be a waste reduction plan? Will there be a put and pay clause in the contract where we actually have to pay even if we don't need it? Where is the incentive to do the right thing? Reducing waste, zero waste, will be on the right side of history. The Office of Resiliency has done a workshop on waste reduction. I'm wondering where we stand on that. I can't find anything online. I may not be looking in the right place. There's a lot there. Please use a precautionary principle first, do no harm. The It's Not Green report spells out in great detail the harm. Yes, you monitor the amount of sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and the nitrogen oxide, but how often do you actually monitor it? And how often does it actually fail? And then you're paying for fines. That could be just a cost of doing business. It's just a line item in your budget. But for residents that have to pay the continual health effects throughout their lifetime, I don't think that's calculated into your budget. A third of the mercury in our air comes from incineration. That's 14 times worse than a coal-fired power plant. No one in 2025 would consider a coal-fired power plant green. So who's striving for zero waste? I'm going to mispronounce this. Aluchua County, A-L-U-C-H-U-A County, Key West, Orlando, Gainesville, Palm Beach County should start. We need to start now before the next need to replace the old incinerator that we're calling the new incinerator, because it's just going to keep repeating. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Ewell?
Thank you. I'm still Mike Ewell without a D. I'd like to. Wow, I just touched this and it turns off. Okay. So still Mike Ewell. I'd like to continue on this theme of what you're not hearing from your Solid Waste Authority staff. Many assume that the US EPA knows best and has science to back up their placement of incineration above landfilling in their solid waste hierarchy. Have your staff informed you that the EPA has admitted 3 years ago to having no documentation to back up the placement of incineration above landfilling in that hierarchy? And have they informed you that as of July 2022, they've had a disclaimer under the hierarchy every place it appears on their website saying that they're reconsidering it based on the latest data and information? Have they informed you that the county with the largest waste incinerator in the nation, which is in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, in the city of Chester, that the county has commissioned a comprehensive life cycle assessment report that has documented that incineration and landfilling of ash is 2.3 times more harmful to health and environment than going straight to that same landfill of theirs? Or that other life cycle assessments in other communities have found very similar results? Have they informed you that these life cycle assessments have found also that the transportation, and documented that the transportation impacts are so small compared to landfilling or incineration that you would have to drive a truck, a diesel truck, from here to California to a landfill to almost make up for the amount of emissions that you get if you burn it here in county? The It's Not Green report that you were just being shown documents, the key author of this report, documents how building a large new incinerator in this county at 3,000 to 4,000 tons per day, as I understand, is probably the size you're considering. I understand it's greater than 3,000. Modeling out those emissions based on what the newer facility is already doing, but lowering those emissions to accommodate for the new EPA regulations that are still not out, that your Solid Waste Authority is actually trying to legally challenge, But assuming that goes into effect and they have to reduce the emissions further of only two pollutants, sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide, by about 40% to come within those new proposed limits, that even with being the cleanest and greenest incinerator in the country, as some have described it, in Miami-Dade County actually calls your new one that, it would rank number one. The combined complex of the two incinerators would be number one in the county of industrial air releases of cadmium, dioxins and furans, hydrochloric acid, mercury, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. Would rank third in ammonia and fourth in greenhouse gases, and either fifth or sixth in particulate matter, depending on how big you build it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maxine?
I assume this is on? Yes. I'm Maxine Lobel. I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. And I am here to tell a different kind of story. I am someone who's been involved in climate work for a long time. I went to a march in Massachusetts, and there were many different climate groups there, one of which was Elders Climate Action. It's a national organization. When I moved down to Florida, I found out there were no chapters for Florida, and I started one here. I'm the Florida chapter leader for Florida. I'm also a member of the Sierra Club. My work with my chapter has mostly focused on plastics, and it was only from reading a Palm Beach Post article back in October that I found out about the proposed new incinerator. From my work with plastic, I'm actually aligned with the Beyond Plastics organization, and the little I knew at that time was that Beyond Plastics was very much opposed to burning waste. And I looked more into incineration. I was very fortunate to get involved with people from the Sierra Club. I'm very grateful that we've been able to work with Mr. Ewald and find out a lot more than I ever knew about the problems with incineration. I liken this situation we're in as one of having to choose pretty much between two bad solutions. We're a consumer society. I wish we could teach the public and our children about reuse, repair, not buying so much that contributes to the waste problem that we have. And to me, having 4 grandchildren, I don't want to look back in the future and see, like we feel with the tobacco industry, that we really missed the boat in knowing how harmful that was going to be. The toxins that are going to come out of this incinerator are going to harm my children and my grandchildren. I have absolutely no doubt of it. I'm not in love with the idea that we're running out of land for landfills, but if you read Mr. Ewald's report as I have and taken the time to really look into this, I believe without a doubt that landfill is still a better option than building a new incinerator. Those toxins are going to harm us, our environment, food, water, land, everything. I think it's a crime to even consider it, and I hope you will consider otherwise. And I would like to say thank you to Commissioner Weiss, who gave time for me and Mr. Ewald. And some of you may recognize my name because I've written to all of you asking for time with you. And I hope in the future perhaps we could do a Zoom or something when Mr. Ewald is no longer here in Florida. But thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
That's it for cards.
Thank you, Mayor. So there's no public hearings. Is there any old business?
There is none.
So for new business, item 9C1.
Thank you. I'll be taking that one. Good morning. As all of you I know are aware, the authority has a large fleet of tractor trailers, nearly 100, that transport the waste from the transfer stations to the complex here on Jog Road. In addition to those vehicles, we have dozens of support vehicles, passenger vehicles, maintenance vehicles, etc. with all that traffic out on the road every day, we have a large exposure, and our risk managers are always looking for ways to better manage that exposure and reduce it. AI camera systems have become very popular in that respect. These systems provide real-time data on driver locations, driver habits. They allow us to provide coaching to drivers if necessary. In the unfortunate event that there is an accident, these systems document that accident and can oftentimes be used to prove fault or innocence. At the behest of our insurance carrier, we started looking into these systems and began working with a company called Samsara. They're the leader in this industry. And we went and did a nearly 2-month trial with about 15 vehicles. We were very pleased with the results, and today's item is asking you to approve us entering into an agreement with Samsara to provide AI camera systems for our entire passenger fleet of 283 vehicles, and this will be a 5-year agreement. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I have no lights, so would anyone like to make the motion to authorize the executive director to execute an agreement with Samara for a period of 5 years for the supply and implementation of an AI camera system to the SWA fleet?
We do
Any
have one
cards?
card.
Okay.
Yes. Ms. Larson?
We can wait.
Don't forget the green light. Okay. I'm just curious. The one thing that bothers me about AI, the first word, artificial. Artificial intelligence. How can you have fake intelligence? Because artificial to me is fake. But I mean, isn't there a camera system that would work just as well? Don't you have cameras on your trucks already? Are we updating it? I'm just curious.
We
I
do
to
not
ask
have
the-
any cameras on
No
the trucks
cameras. Okay, no,
currently.
that's good. Because I want to segue. There's something I forget every damn time I come in here, and I apologize for that because for about a year I forget. Your drivers, and this is not just the Solid Waste Authority. This is anybody who drives a big truck, Amazon, anybody, you name it. Out here in where I live in the acreage, we have berms. And you know what the gentlemen like to do? They like to use the berms as a relief area. So what I was going to suggest to the Solid Waste Authority is put urinals, little handheld urinals in all their trucks. Okay? Because I didn't videotape it, guys. I'm trying to be decent. I'm bringing it up slowly and easily. But I could have, or my neighbors could have, because it is something we've been dealing with for quite a while. And I forgot about it. There's other more important things that I'm thinking of many days than what's going on the berms. But that's another thing. But the cameras, is this the best camera system? I mean, does it do 15 sites on your trucks? Or is it, like you said, you did a study with 15 trucks. So did it work well? Did it help you at all with what's going on out there in the world?
Yes, I mean,
Patrick.
we were very happy with the results. There were no significant incidents that happened during the trial period. We do hope that we will be getting some reduction in insurance premiums, in the future as a result of this as well.
Okay, well, thank you. I just was curious because artificial intelligence, that word right there, always bothers me.
Yeah.
Can it be rectified, changed, or in any way, shape, or form dodged? And we do find that out throughout history here that, things can be changed. So hopefully it'll help you. But the cost, is this the best system? We're getting the best bang for our buck for what's going to help you with your drivers and your insurance. That's the one thing I like to hear. And
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I'd just like to ask staff to not respond to questions from the public. That has to go through the chair. Thanks.
Thank you.
Make the motion.
I'll
Is
second.
that it for cards?
That's it for cards on
We do
9C.
We do have one light. Commissioner Flores?
I'll second that motion, and my questions are, I think you already alluded to it from your answer to Ms. Larson, but this will this will help reduce some risk factors out on the road for our drivers, plus hopefully help with the insurance costs as well, correct?
Correct.
And when you say our fleet, does that include our vendors or the companies that we hire, or is it just SWA
No, this
trucks?
would be just SWA owned and operated vehicles.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. We do have a first. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? See that the motion carries 6-0.
I'll be handling C2 as well. This is a current agreement that we have with Coastal Waste and Recycling for the disposal and processing of vegetation. This is a 3-year extension on our current agreement, which is included in our current agreement. Staff is recommending that we extend the current agreement.
I'll make a motion that we extend the agreement.
Second.
Do we have any cards?
No cards.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0.
C3 is another agreement with Tree Cycle Land Clearing, Inc. for the processing of vegetative material. Again, current agreement, which we are asking to extend for a period of 3 years.
I'll make a motion we extend the current agreement.
Second.
We have a first and a second. No cards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0. Moving on to 9D1. Review of the municipal commercial collection rates, number of requested vegetation estimates per service area, and South Bay solid waste solicitation update. Mr. Pelowitz?
Yes, Mr. Gonsalves will be doing this presentation. This item is the result of questions that were asked by the board at the previous board meeting and additional information that was requested. We are providing this information in furtherance of our efforts to finalize the bid package and the parameters for that bid that we have to do by August of this year. We're not asking for any decisions today. I intend to come back in June, the June board meeting, with a full comprehensive effort to finalize the parameters and for the next collection bid. So
Thank
with
you.
that, Mr. Gonsalves.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Mayor, and Commissioners. At the February 2025 board meeting, the board directed staff to review and report the commercial collection rates across the different municipalities in Palm Beach County, to research and report the requests for estimates received in each service area for non-conforming yard waste piles or piles exceeding 6 cubic yards, and to provide an update on the City of South Bay solicitation for their solid waste collection services. For the commercial collection rates, we reviewed 10 different municipalities that ranged from $9.12 to $15.23 per cubic yard, which is significantly higher than our current rate of $4.30 per cubic yard. While other municipalities have used higher commercial rates in the past to offset the residential costs, this is something that the authority has never adopted. Back in 2013, we set the commercial rate for a uniform rate so that way commercial doesn't offset residential and vice versa. We do acknowledge that we do need to reassess our current rate as service costs have increased over the life of our contract. And we will continue to do data analysis for a more accurate rate for our next contract. The non-conforming yard waste estimates. We analyzed all the different estimate requests for each service area for oversized piles. While the data does not distinguish between unique and repeat requests, it does offer a general insight into request trends by comparing the average request to total units in each area. The City of South Bay solicitation. The city did go out for bid on February 25. They put out an RFP. Proposals are due by May 2nd with a tentative award date of July 15th. We will update the board once the contract is awarded, as this information may inform decisions for Service Area 5 in the upcoming 2026 contract.
Thank you.
So receive and file.
Before we make a motion, we have one card. Mr. Roger Sina?
Thank you, board members and commissioners. Roger Cena, WM of Palm Beach. We are the current service provider for Area 2. I'm available if there are any questions or concerns.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and make a motion.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to receive and file the report.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. We have first Commissioner Weiss, second Mayor Marino. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 6-0. Moving on to items 9E1.
Yes, good morning. Item 9E1 is seeking board direction for future use of 5¼ acre parcel on Benowes Farms Road. So this parcel is located on Benowes Farms Road, just north of Southern. And so it's part of the bigger site, which used to be the former Cross-State landfill. Just a little bit of background here. Back in June 2019, the board approved a 20-year lease agreement with Horizon 880. And the purpose was to build, for Horizon to build a equestrian waste processing facility. So, and the board gave them 18 months to get all the permits. And in February of 2021, the board assigned this lease to High Point Agrobedding. And as of October 2021, they didn't get any permits for this site, so the board extended the deadline to get all the permits. So after more than 4 years, they haven't received any permits, except for the zoning approval they got from Palm Beach County. So the board was not happy with the progress they made, and so the board terminated since there was no clear path forward. So as of today, this parcel remains vacant. So we've been getting inquiries about future use of this site, and that's why we're here today seeking board direction.
Yeah, so just in follow-up, the property is there. We're just seeking direction from the board as to what you would like us to do. We can sit on it. We could issue an RFP. If there are any particular uses you're interested in, you can let us know, but we're just seeking the path forward for the utilization of this site.
Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Couple questions. I know there was some retrofitting and some work done. How much did the authority invest in trying to make that property available to High Point?
The total cost was about $560,000, and that included about roughly $60,000 that the county road and bridge basically, I mean, it was a joint effort, so we had an ILA, it was a $120,000 project, so it was equal cost share. And that is to make improvements on Pike Road and to improve the entrance here. Let me show you, this is the location that we're talking about. This is Pike Road, and Turnpike is to the east, so basically, we extended this roadway, and, we also repaved this whole stretch of road.
Didn't you also put in a bridge? Didn't you have to rebuild a bridge?
No, I mean, this bridge, the bridge that you're referencing is on Benowes Farms Road. It's a one-lane bridge, so it was not suitable. It was very old. Again, this site is very old. Cross-State landfill used to be active back in the 1930s. Obviously it was unregulated at that time. So this bridge is not suitable for heavy traffic. So the county road and bridge and zoning, they deemed that, this is not safe for, access here. So when they approved the zoning conditions, for High Point, they said, the main access should be from Pike Road, which is here.
Okay. All right. And then the other question I had, what type of requests have you been receiving for what uses?
General inquiries about, what is the authority's plan? Is it available for their use? We've received calls for, storage. So there were some people that, they were working with Prologis. I mean, they'd lost their space because they sold or whatever. So, I mean, those are the type of inquiries.
What kind of were they offering? Telling you what kind of money they were offering?
No, nothing of that sort, because we didn't engage them. I mean, my communications with them over the phone. We said, it's up to the board, and we left it at that. We never discussed any dollars.
I mean, I honestly, you know, if there's a way to recoup the investments that the authority put into the property, and it's a compatible use, it's not going to require any land use or zoning changes, I wouldn't be opposed to making that land available to try and recover some of the investment we made.
That's an RFP.
Yeah, through an RFP.
Seeing no lights. Thank you for bringing this.
How do I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you want to speak, Commissioner?
If
Go
I
right
could,
ahead.
yes, thanks, Chairperson. What are the approved land uses for that parcel?
It's industrial use.
So we could use it, it could be used for parking for industrial trucks or commercial trucks, vehicles and things like that.
It's any use that the board deems appropriate.
Okay. I agree with Commissioner Weiss that whatever we can do with that parcel to recoup the investment that we've already made, and possibly if, you know, if it looks like something, because I know Pike Road is a very used road by commercial vehicles, heavy industry. Whatever we can do to, one, recoup the money we've put into it, and second, see if there's any way that we as a, you know, as a county could use it for anything. But I think we need to have that information before we make a decision. So I agree with what the conversation that's been had up to now with regard to putting out an RFP, seeing what the requests are, what kind of monies we can make to sell it, or if we could actually use it for our own use. All right? Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was the one who brought this up. We had originally had this out. I take it back. I will wait. Commissioner Powell, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question. Looking at this 5.25 acre parcel, do you know what's proposed in the area that's next to it that's already being cleared?
You're looking at this parcel right here?
Yes.
Okay, you know, that's being leased to DS Eakins. You know, there are, let me explain, I mean, which parcels we own. You know, this parcel we own right here, it's leased to County Road and Bridge. And previously, you know, and they were in this footprint here, you know, that we cleared for Horizon. The County Road and Bridge used to have a fill operation, you know, for screening and everything. They did that operation to get the fill for construction projects. So we relocated them to the top of the landfill here, which used to be the Cross State landfill.
Okay.
And the eastern half, you know, we used that as a debris site for hurricane debris. And some of the costs that I was referring to was to relocate the County Road and Bridge operation from this parcel to the top of the landfill and make improvements all around for access. So this is the county lease parcel. This is fire rescue. And these two parcels that you see, it's for DS Eakins. You know, they're one of the biggest recyclers in Palm Beach County. And they've been consistently recycling about 400,000 to 500,000 tons of construction demolition debris and asphalt. So one of the reasons why Palm Beach County is #1 in recycling, you know, they are a big part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Commissioner Flores?
So since the entryway is from Pike, what would be the entrance?
So the entrance would be from here.
Right. But how do you have to go through the
It'd be
beacons?
from here, and then you have to go all along the north side here, and then make a turn to the south. Again, you know, this is all elevated. It used to be the landfill, so they have to go traverse around this thing, and then we have to build a road, and then they access the site here.
Got it.
Right. Alternatively, though, let me just add, we did improve the road along the top edge of where Road and Bridge is, so we could work with Road and Bridge, and we could extend that road that you see where he's at right now down to the south and across the top. So there still needs to be some improvements to provide access to the property at this point in time. So, yeah, there would be additional improvements necessary.
And my last question would be, from staff standpoint, and we're going to hear from this is your district, correct? From the districts.
Weiss's.
Weiss. What would you guys like to see? I mean, we had initially went into a contract with High Point because they were going to deliver something, but that never happened. Would that be the goal to?
No, it's
do that,
any,
or-
any purpose that the board deems appropriate, basically, there are two uses, right? So it's for solid waste purpose for the authority's use, or it could be leased to someone.
Okay.
And primarily, those are the two options there.
Right, and let me just add, if I may, we would prefer solid waste use because there's limited industrial property in the county where you could actually do a solid waste use. But ultimately, it's really up to the board. The board has the ability to direct us to use it for whatever the board deems fit. The board has the ability to direct us to sell it, deem it surplus, and sell it. Anything the board, it's really up to the board at this point in time. What we would prefer at this point is to put an RFP out, to get a new appraisal, and to bring any proposals back to the board for the board to decide whether it's something the board wishes to do.
I would be in favor of that. Thank you.
Mayor Marino.
My question is to Mr. Pelowitz, is the tenant next door, Eakins, would they be interested in this parcel?
I have a feeling if it was offered up to them, they would take it, yes.
I guess the next question would be, would it be competitively priced that way?
Well, we would appraise the property and seek a lease payment that's consistent with the appraisal.
Okay, because I don't see us spending any more money for improvements since we haven't recouped what we've done in the first place. And if they already have access, that's less we have to do. So that would just be, those would be my thoughts. Thank you. So it sounds like, if you don't mind, it sounds like that the board would be in favor of an RFP, and I will make a motion for that.
I would like to speak first.
Oh, sorry. Go right ahead.
Thank you. So one of the, I guess, huge shortages that we have in this county that has been brought to my attention, and it keeps cycling back, and one of the things that this property, before it failed with that business, it was for, equestrian waste. And it has been discussed, and this is the only property that would actually work on. Now, I'm not saying, I just don't want to limit if we put out an RFP, let's see what could be used there and see what comes back. But I've asked a lot of questions, and I've, dug into this, and there's not really anywhere else in the county it could even possibly exist. So my preference would be, to put out the RFP, but have maybe a higher preference towards somebody wanting to do equestrian waste and see if we can actually get that done. Because I believe the last company that came in never got permitted. That's what it was intended for, was it not? Dan?
Yes, so for the last entity, they were going to put in a equestrian waste recycling facility to basically recover the bedding and then to recycle that bedding and remarket the bedding. That never came to fruition, but that was the intent. And this came in after the county, action by the county to require that these types of facilities be in industrial zoning. And so that was the location that was selected. Ultimately, that didn't work, but with respect to what happens to the property, an RFP gives you the ability, the board, the ability to make those, to evaluate those different uses and options. It's not a bid. So you have the latitude to be able to weigh the type of facility that goes there, what you believe is the most consistent, the best use and most consistent use of the property. So yeah, you have that ability to do that with an RFP, and if we draft it, we'll make it clear in the document that the ultimate decision as to who's awarded this, if anyone, is the board's.
And also, on that note, how much, I don't even know what they would consider that, amounts of equestrian waste, but what kind of shortage do we face currently in the county?
I can
processing?
tell you that I can give you an answer, but I don't know for sure.
Do you have an
So
approximate?
the estimate of the amount of waste that's out there, equestrian waste, and it's seasonal, obviously, is about 200,000 tons per year. Now, there is a transfer facility in Wellington that is receiving equestrian waste and transferring it, my understanding is, out of the county. There is a gentleman in South County who owns a equestrian training facility. He is managing his own material on site and composting it and doing it, from what I've seen, very successfully. But there is still, to my knowledge, there is probably a lot of equestrian waste that's going out to the ag fields that's unprocessed with the agreement of the owners of those fields. I can't tell you how much, but just given the numbers, it would appear to me that that has to be the case. Because I only know of one facility that's transferring out, unless someone knows of another one that's transferring equestrian waste out of the county, and that's the one in Wellington. So I think there's still a need out there. But typically the challenge has been that it's a race to the bottom, if you will. Is it everyone wants it for the lowest possible price, and no one really wants to pay. And so I think, not to get into anything I know, my supposition is that the cost of that equestrian facility that was intended to be located at Horizon just got so high that it was not going to be cost effective, and that I think it was not likely that anyone who's generating this material would want to pay as much as it would cost to deliver it there.
And again, why my preference would be not that we limit it, put out the RFP, just with a preference on, to your point, you would like whatever goes here to help waste. This is, so just putting on a preference on something that would help waste, whether it's equestrian or otherwise, if somebody answers that RFP. But I do agree with Commissioner Weiss and everyone that I think an industrial use is appropriate, and I see that Commissioner Sachs is light on.
If I may, thank you, Chairperson. Kudos to Mr. Pelowitz, because this is an issue. Unfortunately, it has to be that type of issue that we're talking about, which is horse manure. But this is an issue that we've been discussing for some time, and I know this board reviewed that process that came forward, I think last year, about turning this waste into a saleable item, which is interesting. But what I would like to do, because Commissioner Baxter has hundreds, big horse industry, which is really one of our largest industries in this county. And my district has not the level of your horse industry, but we do have many hundreds of horses. I'd like to see us possibly do a study or review how we can best manage this waste material. This is something that's only going to get worse. We're going to get more and more of it. Tipping fees are expensive. People are dumping this material into our waterways. We used to burn it years ago. I don't know if, and that we used to get a burn permit, and you could burn this waste material, and you can't do that anymore, and for good reason. It does dispose of the material, but it could cause fires today. So I think we need to, let's look at this straight on. And if we could, Mr. Pelowitz, let's see if we can get folks in. Let's see what they do in Ocala with their waste material. They've got more horses than we do. And maybe we could take a look and see what other counties are doing. This is not going away. There are zoning applications for more horses to come into my district. So this is something that we need to take a look at. And if we could somehow do a study on it or get people in who know this area very well, I would welcome that information so that we can then make a decision, a learner decision on what to do with this waste material. If I could ask that, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sachs. I have to agree. Looking into information about is this the best thing we can do to help the equestrian community? And to Commissioner Sachs's point, yes, Wellington is world-renowned, right? We bring a lot of people here. It's a huge economic driver for our county, and we should support them. So, looking in the best way for manure management would be appreciated. Have you already looked into this previously?
We have been involved, but I think the first point of this is that the Solid Waste Authority, given that this is ag and it's subject to the preemption, the Solid Waste Authority does not have regulatory or administrative control over equestrian waste. We have been involved at various times over the years because obviously it is a waste problem. It is a problem the county faces, and so we try to help when asked. And we have been involved in speaking with representatives from Wellington and others over the years regarding equestrian waste, and we're happy to help. The issue we've had in the past, and that we had, I guess it was 2 years ago or so, was that we can take equestrian waste at the waste energy plant, but we're permit limited, and so on a monthly basis to no more than what's equivalent to 50,000, I think it's 50,000 tons a year, something like that. And so we're not the solution, but obviously we have an interest in ensuring that that material does not come here because we don't want it consuming our capacity and our resources. And so I'd be happy to work with anybody, and if you'd like us to get involved and do some more research and come back with information, we'd be more than happy to do it.
I think that would be appropriate because if my math is correct, if we are only permitted for 50,000 tons and there's a 200,000 ton problem, we're at a little bit of a shortage. So if we can help an industry, yes, I understand it is beyond our regulatory powers, but if we can help the industry, which helps our environment, which helps everything else, it seems like a win-win. So I would appreciate that. But still, not instead of, but in addition to, let's still proceed with the RFP and see if somebody wants to put equestrian waste facility on the 5 acres. Well, with a preference to anything that helps with the waste. But it can be anything industrial, I think, to Commissioner Weiss's point. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to caution that what the facility, originally the facility that was going to be located there was completely enclosed. It was a recycling facility. It was not a place to go dump equine or waste. So they've got a place in that I will tell you that if that's what's being proposed, I would absolutely oppose it, and I will ensure that the communities that are surrounding this care area are well informed, because that would be totally unacceptable to think about dumping horse manure on a site right there. I mean, it's right by the fairgrounds. It's right by. It's less than a mile away from residential, and there's businesses that are operating over there that I know we heard from last time. So what was being proposed was something unique and very special. Unfortunately, I don't think the technology was up to snuff. And when I spoke to Mr. Goodlett afterwards, actually assured me that the board made the right decision in not moving forward, even though he had been a proponent of it, but after spending time looking at it up close, ultimately supported the decision the board made.
So, Commissioner Weiss, what would be your suggestion that we do for this 150 tons of waste that isn't accounted for?
I think that it's a commercial venture.
This is industrial commercial land.
It's a commercial venture that's creating the waste, and they need to find a solution for it. They can't just dump it on the county or on the Solid Waste Authority. It's not for the Solid Waste Authority to solve this for them. There is money involved in this, and it's because people don't want to pay. They don't want to pay the actual cost. They want somebody else to subsidize that, and that's not fair to the taxpayers. It's not fair to the ratepayers.
Are you saying that they have a place currently they can take it and they don't want to because it's too expensive?
Correct.
That isn't, from the research I've done and the people I've spoken to, that isn't the information I've received.
The cost of removing that waste from this area and taking it to an area that can accept it
Outside of Palm Beach County?
outside of Palm Beach County is expensive.
I don't think that's helping our residents by making them take it somewhere else. And
It's not us taking it. it's them taking it.
But we are here to serve the residents.
No, we're here as a solid waste authority.
Correct, and they're having
This
a
is not a
waste.
solid waste issue.
No, and I appreciate the conversation. I just wanted to see where you stand on this, but I think it can't hurt to see how we can help with information
Yeah, we
and
can, if
bring
we
it
can
back
get,
to the board.
I did not say anything about not getting information.
And-
Always happy to learn more about everything.
Okay. So, Mr. Pelowitz, are you clear? Oh,
Let me-
excuse me, Commissioner Sachs wants to say something.
Okay. I own horses. I know horse manure, okay? And anybody wants to come out and see a bunch of horse manure, you come on over to my area. Yes, this is a Palm Beach County problem, which is a good problem, because every horse that produces manure is producing income for our residents. This is a billion-dollar industry, the equestrian industry, not in my district, but in Commissioner Baxter's district. Wellington is huge. It's world-renowned. Horses produce, right? So this is a waste material. So let's get into the area and figure out what we're going to do with it. I don't know. I know what I do with mine. I pay tipping fees to send it to the Solid Waste Authority. But I pay for that. And that's okay. But let's figure out what's the best way to handle this waste material. It's a little bit like plastics. What do we do with plastics? Yes, it's a waste material. What do we do with batteries? It's a waste material. I don't know the answer to this. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a homeowner. So let's figure out, let's get some experts in here. I mean, we're not the only county that has horses. So let's find out what the experts say is the most environmentally and affordable way to dispose of horse manure. It's real simple. So if we could have that sent to us, Mr. Pelowitz, it would be informative, educational, and a good foundation for us to make a decision as to what we do. Sending it to another county this is our county. Let's take care of our own waste. We pay to send it to other counties. We don't need to do that. So let's figure out how we can do it. We're only getting more horses in. That's good. That's a source of income for us. So let's make an educated way to determine how to dispose of this. So if I have to make a motion to get this done, Mr. Pelowitz, I just think that we need to get some learned information as how to dispose of this particular type of waste.
Okay, so my question for the chair is, do you want to do this as two separate motions and deal with the RFP issue as one, and then this is a second, or do you want me to incorporate them all into the same motion?
One, separate, please.
Okay, so my understanding of the first motion was that the board wishes to direct staff to issue an RFP, to conduct an appraisal, issue an RFP, and come back to the board with proposals for potential uses of the site on Benoist Farms Road.
Correct.
As the first motion. Is that fair?
With a preference to what helps a waste problem.
With a preference toward using it for a solid waste management solution.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, that would be the first. Commissioner Weiss made that motion. Mayor Marino seconded it. I think that one we were in agreement on. So all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And we do have some more lights. I believe Commissioner Weiss, you were next.
Madam Chair, and again, I have no issue with them getting information together, but to me, this is not a solid waste authority matter because they have no jurisdiction over this. If you want to talk about the waste, the equestrian waste, and a solution, I think it belongs under the auspices of the County Commission, not under the Solid Waste Authority, because we have no jurisdiction over it.
Commissioner Flores.
I think it does apply us to this particular RFP, so I think it could be a use that could go in there. I am also in favor of what Commissioner Weiss did mention about a facility that's indoors, and we are not going to have a odor issue in the surrounding area. I think we have to be respectful to the neighbors. And if putting on the other hat, I am in favor of working with the equestrian community to be able to find a solution. If it happens to be in this particular parcel where it's an indoor facility, I think I would be totally in favor. But if it was just a dumping ground, I would hesitate. So, thank you.
I
So-
agree. So, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't want it to become a problem, right, for the surrounding community. But we also, if there's a way to potentially make this not a burden and solve a problem, that would be preferable. So do you need a motion to go get information, research?
Yeah, I guess the intent was that Commissioner Sachs made a motion for
Would you
the
restate your motion, please, Commissioner?
My motion is for this board to receive information from staff as to the different ways to dispose of horse waste. Could be cattle waste as well. You could say, let's just keep it with horse. Let's keep it with horse waste. What is the most environmental and affordable methods to dispose of this type of waste for our county? And yes, Commissioner Weiss, I see you're making a face. This is a waste issue. Tipping fees, people pay to dispose of this waste. The Board of County Commissioners has jurisdiction over all departments, including this one. But this is an issue that is of particular concern to the Solid Waste Authority because folks do put it in their garbage collection. I've seen them. They throw it. Anyways, let's get information. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I'm not an expert. But let's see what the experts say as to the most environmental and affordable way to dispose of this waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Clerk, are you clear on the motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hang on.
Oh.
I have
Oh,
a comment.
excuse me, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. I was not making a face, my dear colleague. I was speaking to Mr. Pelowitz. He was reaffirming that we don't have jurisdiction as SWA, that he was going to have to reach out to the county to be able to obtain this information. So I'm just asking that it be brought back to the Board of County Commissioners and discussed there, and the request made to our own administration.
Is that
to
true,
bring
Mr. Pelowitz? We don't have jurisdiction over
have-
horse manure?
We don't have jurisdiction over equestrian waste because it's agricultural. However, we do receive it, and we do have the ability to, if you wish us to take the lead on a study, we have the ability to do that. I was simply telling Commissioner Weiss that I would involve the county in that process.
We're all county, and
So-
I agree. This is a waste material. Do we pay? Who pays when we dispose of this waste to other counties? Is that under the Solid Waste Authority? Is that under your budget? Does SWA pay for that?
No. So when someone brings equestrian waste to us, they pay a tipping fee. It's $25 a ton.
Right.
For equestrian waste. We try to direct it to the waste energy plant as much as possible. If there was more, it would have to go to the landfill. We're not getting that much right now, but the numbers have creeped up a little bit. There is a transfer facility in Wellington. I believe they're charging something in the neighborhood of $27 a ton for the material. My understanding is, and I haven't spoken directly to them, staff has to some extent, is that material is being transferred out of that facility, out of the county to points north. My understanding also is, based upon the numbers, it's fairly clear that there is material that is going onto the ag fields in the western area. I can't confirm it. I haven't seen it, but based on the numbers and historically, that's where it's gone. And so, yeah, there is an issue out there. I just want to reiterate, we are perfectly happy to coordinate a series of meetings and information gathering, but ultimately we don't make.
And Mr. Pellets, you
decision.
do one of the best jobs at getting information. So I do appreciate if you could take this on. I think if we need to bring it to the board after hearing the information at the county commission, because that's where would be the appropriate setting, but this is waste, and I think it would be appropriate to come here. Also, we have full agendas all the way around right now, I think, at the county commission. And just this being waste, I think this is the more appropriate place, because you would know, I think you're the experts. And then you're reaching out to more experts, bringing research back on the waste itself. That's where and I think I agree with Commissioner Sachs, feel on this. If anyone, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to be clear, once we finish this conversation, on the clarify the motion. I know we've gotten caught up in the minutia of the manure, but I wanted to make sure I'm clear on what the motion is.
Would you like the clerk to restate it, or for me to summarize?
Either way.
I believe what we are directing is that Mr. Pelowitz and staff reach out to experts in the industry and try to find a way to find some environmentally and affordable solutions for equestrian waste. Yep.
Exactly correct.
And we have a first by Commissioner. Well, the only question we were discussing is, should that go to the Board of County Commissioners, or should it come here to the solid waste? But as we know, we're both. And so I was saying that we get the information here, and if there's anything we can't handle here, we can always have the option to take it to a Board of County Commission meeting.
Thank you, because they're requesting direction, and this would be our direction.
That would be our
Right.
direction.
Thank you.
So I have a motion and a second by Commissioner Flores. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? See that the motion carries 5-0. Commissioner Weiss had to step away. Mr. Pelowitz, are there any other scheduled matters?
There are not. I would just like to note for the board's several commissioners, we have some vacancies on the Small Business Advisory Committee. I believe Commissioner Weiss and Commissioner Sachs have vacancies on that committee. There is also an at-large position that's available. If you have anyone in mind that you could recommend to us, we've had the last two meetings, we haven't had a quorum, and so this would really help us get the business of the SBAC done.
Thank you. Any comments by council?
No comments.
Thank you. Staff? Any comments? Thank you. We will start with Commissioner Weiss. Any comments?
No comments.
Mayor Marino? Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you look in the back next to the officer, you'll see the step and repeat. I had an opportunity this weekend to participate in the Runaway 5K. I want to thank the race director, Patty Hammond, for taking good care of me out there while I was competing or running this 5K. And I ran the whole thing, right? The 5K. It was a bunch of different terrains. We went from rock and asphalt to grass to trails, and it was different. And it was a good time. It benefits Resource Depot. And just the whole team out there making sure things, my good friend Liebert Stewart, making sure I put my car in the right place. And the whole team did a really good job, and it was excellently executed. Hopeful that next year we can get the whole board to get out there with me. I did get third place in my age bracket. So next year I'll aim to get first place. The difference between third and second was 3 seconds. So 3 seconds faster, I would have been second place. Now, first place in my division was a few minutes. So it's something to aim at, but it was a really, really good race on Saturday morning. Excellent job by the team, and thank you for what you do. And good to work with Resource Depot with the excellence that Solid Waste Authority is putting together there. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. That was awesome.
Thank you, Commissioner Sacks.
I just enjoy being on this board and with our newest members. And I don't know, this race sounds pretty exciting. Maybe I could be on a little electric bike and cheat a bit. It was really a lot of fun. That's what we're here for, too. We're here to help people and enjoy ourselves. My philosophy has always been, if it's not fun, don't do it. And I have a lot of fun on this board. I enjoy it, and I do think that we are helping the people. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sacks. Commissioner Flores.
I agree with Commissioner Sacks. If it's not fun, don't do it. Thank you.
Maybe next year I'll race you, Commissioner Powell. It'd be fun. I do not have any more comments. I just want to thank staff, the attorney, Dan, my fellow board members for being here. Our next regular meeting and public hearing date is Wednesday, June 11th at 9:30 a.m. And with that, meeting adjourned.